I retired in Danang, Vietnam, and here's what I discovered. Are you horny guys ready for young, beautiful Vietnamese women? Well, let's dive into it, shall we? Hello there, my name is Sarah, and welcome to this video with all your friends here from Passport Journey. Are you men ready to discover the beauty of Asian women and the wonders that our world has to offer? If your answer is yes, then you've come to the right place. Now, in this episode, we will discover the beautiful women that are waiting for your retirement in Danang, Vietnam. I know what it's like to retire in Danang, Vietnam, and let me tell you, it was a game changer. When I first landed in this coastal city, I didn't fully grasp the magnitude of how different life would be from my experiences in the West. I had spent decades working hard in England, always caught in the fast-paced grind of Western living. But in Danang, the tempo is slower, the people more relaxed, and interestingly, there's a beauty in that simplicity that Western men often overlook. From the outset, I was struck by the warmth and openness of the Vietnamese people. They are incredibly respectful and maintain strong family ties, something that many of us from the West have lost touch with. Western men, especially those looking for a serious relationship, would find this traditional value system refreshing. The women here are feminine, nurturing, and yet strong in their own right. It's a combination that Western society doesn't seem to value anymore, but it's thriving in Vietnam. One of the first things I discovered was the low cost of living. I could dine out every day, enjoy a high-quality lifestyle, and still have more savings than I ever did in the UK. Life is more affordable, and with that comes peace of mind. There's no need to stress over every little bill. For Western men, this alone makes Danang a fantastic place to consider for retirement or long-term living. You can live comfortably and afford a life filled with travel, dining, and luxury without breaking the bank. The culture in Vietnam places a significant emphasis on respect, especially respect between men and women. It's different from the combative gender dynamics that are becoming all too common in the West. Here, relationships seem more harmonious. The women value their roles as partners, caregivers, and homemakers, but they don't sacrifice their personal ambitions to be in a relationship. This balance is something Western men, many of whom feel unappreciated in their home countries, would benefit from experiencing. For the first few weeks, I immersed myself in local culture, exploring the markets, trying Vietnamese cuisine, and even learning a bit of the language. It amazed me how the women in Danang would go out of their way to make me feel welcome. They're incredibly attentive to the needs of others, a trait that I find missing in many Western cultures. This attentiveness is crucial in a relationship, as it fosters mutual respect and care. It's a quality that I believe would appeal to Western men searching for genuine connections. While Danang is modernizing, there's still a sense of old-world charm here. You can walk down the beach and see fishermen bringing in their daily catch while skyscrapers rise in the distance. This blend of tradition and modernity extends to the women as well. Vietnamese women are embracing modern education and careers, but haven't abandoned their traditional values. For Western men, especially those who feel disillusioned by the overly competitive and individualistic nature of relationships back home, this could be the perfect balance. During my 6 months, I couldn't help but notice the ease with which relationships seem to form between Western men and Vietnamese women. The dynamic is vastly different from what you'd experience in the UK or the US. Here, the women appreciate masculine qualities without feeling the need to challenge or compete with them. There's a mutual respect that, frankly, has disappeared in many Western countries. A man can be a man, and a woman can be a woman without the constant pressure to outdo one another. I saw several Western men, expats and travelers alike, in long-term relationships with Vietnamese women. What struck me was how happy they appeared. These were men who had probably spent years in the West feeling underappreciated or even invisible. But here, they were valued. They weren't just seen as financial providers, but as partners, respected for their wisdom, their experience, and their presence. This is something that Western men should really consider when looking for love. It's not just about physical attraction, it's about being appreciated for who you are. Western men often tell me they feel like they can't win in relationships back home. Whether it's the high divorce rates, the lack of respect, or the constant tension between men and women, they feel beaten down. In Vietnam, the dating scene is just calmer. There's no competition for who can be more dominant in the relationship. Instead, the women here understand and appreciate traditional gender roles. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's a far cry from the confusion many men feel in the West. What I found particularly interesting was how secure the Vietnamese women seemed in their femininity. They embrace it fully and aren't trying to be something they're not. They take pride in being nurturing, supportive, and creating a harmonious home. This is the kind of environment many Western men are yearning for. They want a partner who complements them, not one who constantly challenges their role as men. And trust me, the women in Vietnam are experts at making a man feel valued and respected. Another aspect that Western men might find appealing is the work-life balance. Vietnamese culture values hard work, but they also make time for family and relationships. It's a lifestyle that prioritizes happiness and connection over materialism. I saw Western men thriving in this environment, rediscovering a sense of purpose and peace they hadn't felt in years. They're able to enjoy their lives without the constant pressure of proving themselves. In Danang, life is simpler, but not in a way that feels lacking. It's simplified in a way that allows for greater focus on relationships, personal well-being, and community. There's something incredibly refreshing about that. Western men, who are often overworked and stressed out, would find this a welcome change. Here, it's easier to build meaningful relationships because life isn't consumed by the rat race. It's worth mentioning that while many Vietnamese women are traditional, they are not submissive in the negative sense of the word. They have strong opinions and a deep sense of self-respect, but they don't feel the need to dominate or undermine their partners. They believe in cooperation, in building something together, rather than fighting for control. This is a dynamic that could deeply benefit Western men who are tired of the constant power struggles they face back home. There's a kind of peace that comes from living in Danang, and it permeates everything, including relationships. The pace of life allows for reflection and for truly getting to know your partner. Vietnamese women take the time to invest in their relationships. They're not in a rush to jump into something unsustainable. Instead, they cultivate long-term partnerships based on mutual respect and care. It's a lesson that many in the West could learn from. Over the 6 months, I also noticed how much emphasis is placed on family. Family is everything in Vietnam. Western men who may not have experienced that kind of closeness in their home countries would likely appreciate the strong family ties Vietnamese women maintain. It's about building something that lasts, not just jumping from one short-term fling to another. If you're a Western man looking for a stable long-term relationship, Vietnam is the place to find it. One thing that surprised me was how modern Vietnamese women are in their thinking. While they hold traditional values, they're not stuck in the past. They want careers, education, and independence, but they don't see these things as incompatible with being a loving, supportive partner. This balance is something many Western men are looking for, but can't find at home. In Vietnam, you don't have to choose between a modern woman and a traditional one. You can have both. Western men should also know that Vietnamese women are deeply loyal. Once you've earned their trust and love, they are committed. This loyalty stems from their cultural values, which emphasize long-term relationships and family over short-term pleasures. Many Western men, especially those who've been burned by past relationships, would find this sense of loyalty and commitment incredibly appealing. By the time my 6 months in Danang were up, I had a deeper understanding of the cultural differences between the West and Vietnam when it comes to relationships. If I had one piece of advice for Western men, it would be to seriously consider Vietnam when looking for love and partnership. You'll find women who are beautiful, intelligent, and strong, but who also value traditional relationships. In the end, Danang gave me more than just a peaceful retirement. It gave me a new perspective on relationships and the role that culture plays in shaping them. For Western men tired of the dating scene back home, Vietnam could very well be the answer. If you are new here, you enjoy my content, and I've given you some value. All I ask is please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for our newest videos. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, this is Sarah from Passport Journey saying, I wish you happy trails, safe travels, and good luck finding your retirement and your woman here in Da Nang, Vietnam.